Howdy, folks. I'm Wanda, the wonderful whale.
I'm Amber.
And here's some... Amber wasn't expecting that at all. Our first letter is titled, Am I the jerk for canceling the birthday party I had planned to throw for my wife after what she did? And hang on to your seats, folks. It's a wild ride. Almost as wild as a whale. I'm a 36-year-old male, and I remarried after my late wife passed away. I have a son, a 15-year-old, and my current wife and I have been together for the last 2 years. She generally has a good relationship with my son, although they tend to have some disagreements from time to time. My son has a background in art that involves wood. He used to help his grandfather with his woodworking and learned how to make handmade wooden items and use them as gifts. I had planned a dinner party for my wife's birthday at a prestigious restaurant. The day before the party, she was cleaning my son's room and saw what he had got her for her birthday, and it was a wooden tree with mine, hers, and his name on it. She talked with him and told him that while she thought it was a sweet gift, she asked that he don't bring it to the restaurant and give it to her there. Why? No idea. When my son told me this, I had just had to call her to get it out of her. She flat out said that she thought the gift looked ridiculous and that she didn't want to be seen like that in that prestigious restaurant and in front of her guests. I lost it on her and told her that she should be ashamed of herself for saying this when my son was being sincere and thoughtful. She swore that she wasn't ashamed or embarrassed by his work and even said that she'll take the gift but simply didn't want it to be seen there. I told her not to worry about it since I decided to cancel the whole thing. She went off on me, calling me unreasonable for outright canceling her birthday over such a trivial thing. I refused to keep arguing, but she threw a fit about how I ruined her birthday and made her lose respect for me and my promises. My son kept the gift since she left the house 2 days ago, and her mom has been chewing me out for my decision and calling me a jerk for treating her daughter like this. It could be that it was not that big of a deal and I overreacted, but my son was feeling hurt by her request. Alright folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
OP, I think this is worth reconsidering your relationship over. Like, who is like, oh, well, I know that my child made something special, handmade for me, but it's too tacky to be seen by my friends and family. Like, honestly, if your friends and family are going to judge something that your child has handmade for you, their opinions do not matter.
Like, this is such a shallow take that she would assume that everyone would be like, oh, why would you bring this dirty stick into this restaurant? We are serving wine here, not wood pieces. It's like no one's going to be like that. No one's going to be like, oh, a stick.
Like, it's such a sweet, thoughtful gift. And so, like, doesn't matter his skill level. He clearly put a lot of time and energy and care into this gift, and it symbolizes that he's accepted her into his life.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, okay, suppose for a moment that the son just went outside and picked up like an old rotting branch, like one with like that was halfway covered in like rotting wood and like fungus sprouting out of it, and then carved their name into the side of it. Okay, OP, you might have a point there. But certainly there are more delicate ways of putting people down.
Right. Well, and like it sounds like he is trained in woodworking, so he's probably pretty decent. But I just meant like, no matter what his skills are, I'm assuming he's not, bringing in insect-infested dead wood to like. Yeah.
I mean, there's a limit, right? I mean, I'm just being ridiculous. Of course he didn't do that, but she's acting like he did. Right, she's acting like that's the gift that he brought in, and was not bringing in this lovely carved, handmade piece of work that showed them united as a family, and basically being like, I accept you as part of my family, and you're like a mom to me, which is a huge thing for a 15-year-old? Yeah, a 15-year-old to say this kind of thing, right? A lot of times kids don't form this kind of bond with their step-parents, and OP should consider themselves, not OP, but the OP's wife should have considered themselves fortunate to
Right.
have that bond.
Exactly. Like, I just can't imagine seeing that and being like, oh, this is so tacky. Like, I
Yeah.
can't be seen with this. It's like the sort of thing that should have just like made her heart melt.
Oh yeah, it was a cruel, heartless reaction when it should have been, oh honey, this is so sweet, I love it, I want to show it off to everyone. That's really what her reaction should have been. And and if anyone laughs at it, then she has a perfect tool to correct their laughing.
Well, like, I know everyone's taste in art is different, and sometimes kids do make art that is truly hideous, but like the polite response is always just to accept it with gratitude.
I mean, I don't care if it had been macaroni art of them being together as a family, and that was the gift that she was getting at the restaurant. You still accept it with a smile on your face and the warmth in your heart that it's supposed to ignite. So, yeah. I don't know what's wrong here, because this just seems like a perfect gift, to be quite honest. So, OP, really sorry about this, but it seems like this is a bad sign for the relationship. So, and the mom getting involved here.
Well, yeah, that too. Like, you don't bring your parents into your feuds with your partner. And, I understand she's really disappointed about not having this dinner, but she could have not chosen this hill to die on at any point in time.
Yeah, exactly. So anyhow, take care and good luck, OP. It's cool when they do it, says. Holy heck, not the jerk at all. Your wife doesn't sound like a very kind person at all, but incredibly shallow and cruel. This calls for a, what is wrong with her? Alright folks, our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for not wanting to adjust to my boyfriend's parents living with us for months at a time? And OP is a 28-year-old female and her boyfriend is a 26-year-old male. My boyfriend and I have been living together for 3 years in a city in Australia. A few months ago, his parents arrived from India to live with us. I was excited to make an impression and went out of my way to make them feel comfortable. They were nice to me in the beginning, but some of their demands started making me feel uneasy in my own home. They, one, were uncomfortable with me and my boyfriend sleeping together in the same room, resulting in my boyfriend having to camp out in the living room for 2 months. The mother taking over the kitchen and excluding me from grocery shopping even after requests to include me. Not acknowledging me as his girlfriend in front of friends. Not offering to help with the cleaning and general upkeep. Rearranging furniture multiple times in spite of being requested not to. The father expressing his concern over me not helping his wife in the kitchen, which isn't true. The parents giving credit to my boyfriend and thanking him instead of me on multiple occasions, even when they knew he was not involved in the planning/execution of the dinner parties and trips. The father feeling uncomfortable that I wore a short dress at home. He did apologize later when I ended up crying about this, but insisted that these are values that his family has been brought up with. I suppose my issue is not that his parents are not very nice to me, but that my boyfriend, who has been nothing short of ideal all these years that I've known him, seems not to acknowledge any of these as real issues, and did not stand up for me when his father had an issue with my clothes. All of my concerns were either dismissed with a, so what, they're guests, we have to make them feel comfortable, or my dad is a traditional, and there's nothing wrong with his mentality. The parents left after spending 3 months here, and I moved to another city in Australia for a job shortly after. My long-distance relationship has been great for the last 4 months that we've been living apart, and we see each other once a month. However, my boyfriend recently told me that his parents are visiting shortly for 2 months again. I am in shock that my boyfriend wouldn't consult me or warn me before their flight tickets were booked. It has triggered the concerns that I previously had and are met with a, but they're my parents. I was also told that these visits will be frequent and I have to be okay with this when I move back with him. I am beginning to be asked to give up my privacy and personal space for months every year. I want to make it clear here that I would never ask my boyfriend to stop his parents from visiting us for a few weeks, once or twice a year or so. Am I the jerk for expecting my boyfriend to take my needs into consideration and stand up for me when it's needed? Edit. I'm Indian too, but from a different culture. I'm shocked to see the number of comments confirming how rampant this is, even in educated Indian families. All right, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Absolutely not the jerk. OP, this is your house as well. And first of all, when you're having guests, that needs to be a 2 yeses type of situation. You know, you and your partner both need to be able to agree on a reasonable length of time. Secondly, his parents are being very, very gross people in their behavior toward you. They are not showing you respect and treating you as a person with dignity. And your partner should be supporting you in that and standing up and being like, oh, hey, OP was the one who planned this dinner. Oh, there's really nothing wrong with OP's dress. Like,
yeah. He is not going to stand up for you. He's already shown that he's not going to stand up for you, OP. And while he's ideal in a lot of other ways, I think that you need to really impress upon him that if he doesn't stand up for you, and if he doesn't take your side, then this relationship is over.
Right. You know, it's better you cut your losses now than you get stuck with having to cater to his parents for like 3 months at a time every single year.
Yeah. Do you want to live like this for the rest of your life, OP? Without his support, without his encouragement, and with them constantly bad-mouthing you? No, OP, don't do this to yourself. There are a lot of other fishes out in the sea who certainly will not allow their parents to walk all over you.
And like just this whole attitude, like, oh, this is the way they're raised, you have to accept it. No, you don't.
You can call people out even if they were raised a certain way. And I think that sometimes there are lines to be drawn, and you just have to say, look, I mean, I understand that this is the way you were, but this is my house, and we have different rules here, and you can either accept it the way it is, or you can go away and go back to your house. You have another home elsewhere. So, OP, I think that this is a terrible situation, and I feel very bad that you have to deal with this. So, anyhow, take care, and good luck. And individual ad 9213 says, not the jerk, don't move back in with him until he and his parents start treating you as a full partner in the relationship. If you don't change the rules now, you can expect to be treated as an unwanted guest in your own home for the rest of your life. All right, folks, our next letter is titled, I found these texts on my husband's phone. I don't know if I'm being paranoid or not. 35-year-old female and a 38-year-old male. I'm a 35-year-old female and my husband is a 38-year-old male. Married for 10 years, we have a 9-year-old and a 7-year-old. This conversation is between my husband and one of the moms who live down the street, a 27-year-old female. She has a 7-year-old who goes to school with ours. Our kids play together at the bus stop at the corner. I noticed my husband got a text and was acting weird. He seemed sort of off and wouldn't tell me what was up. Then I saw these texts. When I asked him about the conversation, he was talking about what he said was he made a joke and was afraid that he offended her. I asked about all the unsent messages, and he said those were accidental texts sent when his phone was unlocked while it was in his pocket. I don't know if I'm being too paranoid, which is why I'm asking on here if these texts seem fishy or normal. And then that photo, it doesn't really show a whole lot. It just has a conversation and then a couple of unsent messages in the middle, sandwiched in the middle of it.
Yeah, well, and the important part, the crux of the messages is that she says, oh, my work schedule has changed all of a sudden, so my kid's not going to be able to go with your kid to some kind of sports thing anymore. And the husband's like, is that because of what I said? And she's like, no, of course not. So there's some kind of iffy, is it because of I said, followed by unsent messages.
Yeah, so it seems pretty questionable here. So, OP, this definitely does seem questionable, and I would talk to the friend. That is where you're going to get the clearest picture, and just ask her to be honest and straightforward with you, and say that if he's sending these out to you and they're inappropriate messages, then he's probably sending inappropriate messages out to other people, and you need to know before this becomes a bigger problem, right?
Well, I think the important thing is, like, if she's pulling her kid out of a sport because she doesn't feel comfortable around your husband, that's a very bad thing. So yeah, I think you definitely should talk to her and be supportive and understanding.
Yeah.
Because again, it's not her fault if your husband is hitting on her and being a creep.
Yeah, exactly. This is certainly not your fault. It's not her fault. The only person that is to blame here is him. And unfortunately, you're not going to get a straight answer out of him. And that's the reality. There are sometimes ways to undelete and unsend messages. So if OP could figure that out, then that might also help them decode what's going on in the situation. But anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here. And Amber, she's got a joke.
Why can't you play hockey with pigs?
Coconuts. So you see, the trouble with hockey with pigs are the coconuts that are involved in the situation. And you see, you might think that, Brian, hockey's played on ice with sticks and little pucks, but not when pigs are involved. When pigs are involved, it's called mud hockey, and you have to play in the mud, and if you use the puck in the mud, then it would be lost pretty quickly. So you use coconuts instead. And then also the pigs, they play dirty, and then they like throw mud in your eye and stuff like that. And it's just a bad time all around. And so don't play hockey with pigs. They're bad. They're bad sportsmen.
They always hog the puck.
Like I said, they're bad sports pigs. And I have licorice spice. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thanks so much for watching. And don't forget that we have a live stream later this Friday, so keep your eyes and ears peeled for that one. Amber, I need a moral, and I need it to involve 10 words or less, and maybe one color.
Unilateral decisions in a relationship are a red flag.
I like it. Nice job. Well played. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you all tomorrow.
Bye.